Hi you guys, welcome back to the desk corner. I know I'm holding the camera, which is not very usual for my channel, but that's because this is a travel vlog type of video. So today I am heading up to the Central Coast, and I live in California for those of you who may not know this, but Central Coast is one of my favorite areas in the state. I am so excited. I'm going to visit some family there and haven't seen them in a while. It's summertime. It's going to be a nice little beach trip, and I'm going to try and do some art while I'm there, or at least get some footage for you guys from the trip. This is a very awkward angle for me to talk to you guys, but I'm just going to film a little bit during the trip and put it all together for you guys at the end, and hopefully I'll have a little bit of artwork to show you along the way. Really quick, I just want to show you guys what I'm bringing art supply wise. I've got my little mixed media sketchbook that I always bring when I go anywhere, and then I've also got my Stonehenge black watercolor paper and this Etcher watercolor block, and my museum aquarelles, a sharpener by Faber-Castell, and this has my Albrecht Dürer watercolor pencils by Faber-Castell, and this one also has a mechanical pencil and erasers, and I think a couple of fine liners as well, just in case. Thankfully, I was not alone during this drive. My mom actually came with me on this trip. We were visiting my aunt, who is her sister, in fact, and I was very happy to not have to drive alone. We took her car, which is an SUV and much better for road trips like this, to be honest, but I told her to hold the camera and film a little bit, and I taught her a little bit about how to use the camera so that while I was driving, she could still get a few shots, although they're not very interesting. Here I am explaining to her, but I didn't want to really be on the camera. And you could see a little bit of that coastal scene and some of the valleys in California as we were driving, but nothing too interesting on the way up. It was a very long drive, maybe about 4 to 5 hours to get up to the Central Coast to meet up with my aunt. The town we stayed in was called Arroyo Grande, about 10 minutes from the beach, and it's a little cowboy beach town. Very cute. We went to this cafe and I got a very delicious vanilla bean iced coffee, and my mom got some peach tea. And then we walked the streets a bit exploring the town because I had never actually been there before or really known of its existence somehow. We walked around and I was actually looking for some areas where I might be able to take some reference photos that I could use for artwork later. The most beautiful area that we found to walk through was this park. There was a gazebo. I tried to get a shot of it, but it didn't turn out super well. Then there was this wobbly bridge, which we walked across, a wooden bridge that really swung and kind of shook as you walked across it, which made me very nervous, and it made my mom even more nervous. But it was really fun to walk across, and afterwards I did try to take a photo of the bridge, but it didn't come out very exciting or enough to make me want to make an artwork out of that. There's this Rooster Creek area. I didn't really know why it was called Rooster Creek until we came across this rooster who randomly showed up, and then I was trying to actually take a photo of him. But as soon as I stopped taking video and tried to take an actual photo, he was avoiding me and kept walking away from me, and I didn't want to get too close to him, so I kind of just gave up. Here's the first shot I actually got kind of excited about. We didn't get to walk the trail that this staircase led to, but I think this could make a nice artwork. And then we headed up to a place called Morro Bay, a true harbor town, let me tell you guys. It is so cute. It's very chilly, there's always a marine layer, but we got lucky that it was only partly cloudy the day that we went. I really love the view of the 3 towers, the giant rock, and the harbor. We waited about 40 minutes or longer in line to get fresh seafood, but it was extremely, extremely fresh. I got fish tacos and my mom got clam chowder, and that was delicious. Morro Bay has a lot of fun things you can do. You can do boat tours, you can do kayaking and all sorts of things, paddleboarding, but we didn't have time for that, unfortunately. We did have time to drive over to the giant rock and look at some of the otters. I wish we had binoculars. My mom had some, but she forgot to bring them on the trip, unfortunately. The otters were so fun to look at. My aunt also sent us this photo of a shark from Pismo Beach, and my cousin could not surf that day, so apparently there's a lot of marine life out here. I think that the three towers could have made a nice painting, but the marine layer makes it a little bit difficult to get a clear shot. I think it still was a good shot that I got, so we'll see. Then that evening we all took a walk around where the hotels are by Pismo. Of course it's overcast and chilly as it always is, even in the middle of summertime. This isn't a sandy type of beach or place to visit. If you want to make an actual beach trip, you pretty much need a wetsuit to swim in these waters. And I started taking pictures of this seagull that was posing so effortlessly for me. This is definitely a photo I'm going to turn into an artwork. I didn't take my camera out too much walking around downtown Pismo Beach, but I love this "Not LA, Not the Bay" sign on this coffee shop here, referring to San Francisco Bay. The morning before we left, we had some lunch, took it to this gorgeous park, and I found yet another gazebo, and this gazebo I actually was able to get a decent shot of, so who knows, that one might be used in the future. I wanted to share with you guys my favorite viewpoint along the train tracks. You can only access this vista point on the south, and it is just a gem. I love standing here. I could just stand here for hours and look out into the ocean. The water, while tempting, is icy, and it's a trek to get down to any of those beaches. And to finish off this vlog, I just wanted you guys to say hello to Daisy. I just got back from my trip yesterday, and guess what I had time to do art-wise while I was there? Absolutely nothing. I guess I should have expected this, as I was so busy during this trip. I was driving a lot, there was a lot being done, I was visiting so much with family, and when I would get back to the Airbnb, it was already pretty late at night and there wasn't much time for anything, and then I would leave again in the morning. So, yeah, we didn't do any art on the trip. That's okay though. Luckily, I took some reference photos while I was there so that I could transfer them into an artwork. That was a weird way to say it. So that I could create an artwork based on my reference photos when I came back for this video. I also have some goodies from the trip. Not really art related, but I thought I would show you guys anyway. I picked up this really cute coin purse in Pismo Beach. I thought it was just the cutest thing ever. It's a little cherry, and I don't like to keep cash and coins loose in my wallet, really. It kind of just holds all my cards, and so I figured this would be something cute I could use in case I ever have cash or coins or something small that I want to hold. And I just love the little cherry and the pale yellow background. I think it is so cute. So, of course, not art related as I said, but still fun. I also bought this octopus or squid keychain. I think it's an octopus keychain from Morro Bay, and it is the cutest thing ever. It's one of these that flips, and so the other side is a sad octopus. I just can't get over it. I don't know if I want to keep the chain on it, because with the chain, when you flip it, the chain goes into the inside, so I don't know. But I think I'm gonna put this in my car or something and just have it sitting there because it's so cute. And finally, I bought this coaster also from Morro Bay because just look at it. It is so cute. I love this design. I actually bought a couple more things, but I ended up giving them to family, which is why you aren't seeing them in this video. There were about 2 more things that I bought, but it's always fun to get some souvenirs when you are away, so I thought I would just show you guys those. I just find it funny that I brought all of these supplies with me on my trip and did not crack anything open. I guess that's to be expected, but I was hoping I would get some downtime in order to create. Now, I think what I'm going to do is create a part 2. I will use some of the reference photos I showed you guys in today's video to actually create some artworks inspired by my trip. And you don't know how excited I am, you guys, to actually take some of my own photos and use those as artwork. That really inspires me. There's my fire alarm again, it's broken yet again. But that really inspires me because sometimes when you get into a rut with your artwork, nothing helps you more than taking some of your own photos. And so I usually don't work from my own photos, and it's fun to get out and actually take some beautiful shots of scenic areas and then be able to use those as inspiration. So obviously I'm not going to be using these for today. However, I don't want to finish up this video without anything creative or art related. So you guys saw that I bought this really adorable coaster from Morro Bay. I actually have these 2 wooden coasters that I've been wanting to decorate. I'm not sure I'll get to both today, but I did dig out my acrylic paint pens and markers. I think I'll use probably the markers more and maybe the paint pens just for a couple colors that the marker set might not have, because the paint pens are a little bit frustrating to work with, but the markers are a lot of fun, and hopefully I will at least get to decorating one of these in this video for you guys. I'm very inspired by the beach now, and I am in a summery type of mood, so let's go ahead and decorate some coasters. For the first coaster, I just had the idea of creating a wave that comes over the sand, so this is a very simple idea that I've seen done before, and I looked at a few photos before I did this, and I just needed to use my blue and white acrylic paint markers because the wood is obviously sand colored and I didn't need to do anything there. The only issue was I didn't prime this with anything, so it was a bit hard with the texture on parts of the wood, but for the most part it was smooth. And so the first layer was a bit more challenging than the subsequent layers. I also was trying to get that look of foam, like sea foam with the white, and it was difficult. These are actually the ARTSY acrylic paint markers, and I've had them for a few years now. So they are the only acrylic paint markers that I have because it's just not something I use too often. So I really had to make sure to shake these before I used them because it definitely has been a while, probably since Christmas time and the holidays, that I've actually used them. I set that one aside to let it dry, and I was going to start working on the second one. I was inspired by that jumping shark, so I decided to do a shark with its head popped out of the water. Now at first I used my acrylic silver paint marker, and then I realized after I started using it that silver was not the best choice and I had to mix a gray instead, but we will get to that. So this shark was a little bit difficult because I kind of just free-handed and winged it, tried to get the proportions to look somewhat accurate like a shark. Creating the shark's mouth was a bit tough, if I'm being honest. I used red and black to mix the colors, and then of course my pink for the gums. I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to get that white to show up on top later, but luckily I didn't have that issue. I think the first layer was just the most difficult since I didn't paint the wood first. I could have just painted the wood white or something first, but I didn't have that thought. And also, I'm not sure if I even have any acrylic paint at this point. I would have to search for it. Here you could see I'm actually replacing that silver or covering it up with some black and white mixed together to make gray, sometimes using my fingers to blend the paint instead of a brush, which is pretty funny, even using a Q-tip there. And then I wanted to go in and work on the water a little bit. I wanted to create a splash effect, but I think I overdid it just a little. You guys will see what I mean in a moment. I added a bunch of splashes, it started to get busy, but I think in the end I made it look okay. I still need to go back, perhaps now that it's entirely dry, and add some more white to get that bright white foam on the water, as well as go back to the other coaster to do the same, but I think the other coaster I was able to get a little bit more of that highlight. You could see the teeth went on, so that was the first layer. They actually looked pretty okay compared to what I thought they would look like. And then I'm just working on the water for the rest of the time because I wasn't happy with it, and I just ended up giving up at one point. These are not meant to be super serious. I was just having fun with them, and I just wanted to have some beach-inspired coasters, so I had a really good time doing this project. It's actually something I'd probably want to do again. And then here I am adding that white foam. And about 1 hour later, this is what I have. So I'm not quite sure if the ocean on this one turned out exactly how I wanted it to with the shark. It might be a little bit busy with all the splashing around the shark, and maybe I could fix that later, but honestly, I think it's just fine. And the shark proportions didn't turn out as badly as I thought they would, and neither did the teeth. I am surprised that the teeth actually showed up. And then over here, this one is a bit more realistic, just a sandy beach with a wave coming across it. I really need to fix both of these now, and probably I'll do that later on. I'll let these dry completely first, and I want to know what you guys think of them. They're very, very ocean inspired, obviously. And this one is inspired, of course, by that shot of the shark jumping out of the water, and I thought that it would just so perfectly go on my desk on the right side with my little Jaws mug. just goes so perfectly together. Anyways, you guys, I would like to come on to the screen for the outro, but I do look like a mess right now. I just wanted to thank you guys for watching today's vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm glad I could add some art to it because I was worried there was going to be nothing since I didn't end up doing any on the trip. And in part 2, we will use some of those reference photos I took to create some real artwork. So thank you guys as always so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment down below and a like if you enjoyed this video. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!